Yo, what is up guys? It's the Goblin and welcome back to another Fortnite video. Now, a lot of people in the community in live stream chats on Reddit and Twitter, I've seen complaining Fortnite is dead, rip Fortnite, rest in peace to Fortnite, for different reasons around the meta, and they actually did a patch update to address this, and I want to talk about it all in today's video. So, if you guys don't already know, I'm doing giveaways on my channel where I give away V-Bucks codes to my subscribers. The next big amount of winners is going to be announced very, very soon, so if you want a chance to enter, all you have to do is be subscribed to my channel, The Goblin, on YouTube. If you're not already subbed, you can go and subscribe right now. Drop a comment down below in the comment section saying where you play Fortnite, and then smash a like on the video. That's all you have to do. I pick winners from the comment section down below, contact them, and give them their code. So, by the way, this gameplay here is like a nice little win I got earlier tonight using this. What is this skin called? It's like the female burnout, or maybe it is called burnout. I'm not sure, but this skin is pretty dope, and I've never used it since Season 5 came out. I threw it on and started using it and got pretty good win. I think like the first, this is like the first game I was using it. So that's the background gameplay. Now, let's talk about it, right? Everyone is hating on the meta for this season, and basically what a meta is, I'll explain. A meta basically means what is currently the best setups or weapons to use in a video game state. So right now the meta in Fortnite is to literally use an SMG, a drum gun, some sort of spraying gun. Sometimes people are doubling up on those, sometimes even tripling up on those weapons, and spray people down, right? And that's something that's been happening since the start of Season 5, even sort of since the end of Season 4, when for that brief little like 5-day or week span when they made the suppressed SMG like the best gun in the game. People were taking that over the Scar. That's sort of what's been up with the meta, and that's the reason why people are saying rip Fortnite, you know, blah blah blah, you know, go back to Season 3, Season 4, Season 2, whatever people are saying. Now, everyone has different times of a game span that they like the most, especially to do with the meta, but a good video game and one that wants to be competitive is one that will evolve the meta every single time, right? So understand why people are saying rip Fortnite or whatever when they're dying to someone who, a random noob who luckily SMG P90 sprays them down with the 50 bullets, right? That's understandable. But at the same time, I think that Fortnite, it's still the #1 game. It's growing so damn fast right now, and maybe the growth has slowed down to the insane amount it was growing like January, February, March, but the growth still is probably the fastest growing video game ever, I would be willing to bet, and at this exact moment. So I don't think the game is going anywhere, but I do think that the meta needs to be something that a lot of games do this. They push their meta into where it's more of like, hey, we want everyone to be the same level of player, but that's not good, and that usually ends up pushing the most popular players away from the game, which usually the most popular players are, or the best players are usually streamers and YouTubers or different uploaders, professional players. When those people draw away from the game, they're the influencers, and then eventually the market will drive away from the game. Basically what I'm saying is exactly what happened to H1Z1. Now, I don't think that's going to happen to Fortnite, because Fortnite seems to have a very strict plan, and it's like they've been training their whole life for this moment. They've been doing very well. But let's talk about the meta. Now, what people hate, like I said, the most about this meta is C4s. They hit that with a decent nerf last time. But people hate the fact that the two complaints I see all the time are shotguns are useless, and it's just a spray and pray meta. So basically, to address that, I'll give my opinions on it. But first, let's talk about the patch that came out yesterday from when I'm making this video, which was sort of like a hot fix. It wasn't really a patch. It was just something they implemented into the game, live into the game. And this is basically what the Fortnite team at Epic Games had to say. Hey folks, we've seen various discussions about SMGs, building material changes, and general weapon versus structure interaction. Now, what they're talking about right here, if I can interrupt for a second, is that the last patch update, where they affected the materials, and they also affected the basically the SMGs and the P90 and stuff, but those nerfs still weren't enough because they were still good. Basically, they said that we agree that weapons should have a unique purpose and that building should feel great, as well as show off your tactical skills in the heat of battle. Your feedback in combination with internal testing has shown that previous changes in these areas were not achieving the goals we had set out for. These changes are aimed at allowing for strengths and weaknesses between the SMGs, shotguns, and structures during close range combat. Here are the changes that are now live. So that was a pretty good statement, and the one thing I will say about Epic Games is they are a wicked good company at listening to community feedback. Sometimes it takes them a while, but eventually they usually get everything right. So that's why I sort of have faith in this company. But basically these are the changes that they reverted, or what they changed yesterday in the game. Building changes. By increasing initial wall health values based on material type, material strength should feel more intuitive while making decisions. The wood wall HP was increased by 10, the stone wall HP increased by 100, and the metal increased by 30. And that is just the initial health value. So that's really key to note that the initial health values is now up 30 on metal and 20 on stone and 10 on wood. So this is inadvertently a buff to stone and metal here, but a buff to everyone who likes to build up and move on those initial builds to rush players, which I think is something that's key. Now, SMG changes. Dropping SMG effectiveness, they should feel good against structures, but not consistently to be the best option in multiple scenarios. So this is where a lot of people are saying rip Fortnite and they hate the meta, is the interaction between shotguns and SMGs. So what they did to combat this, before I give my personal opinions on it, is the compact SMG, aka the P90. These are the changes that are live right now in the game. They reduce the damage by 1. So the gold will now do 21 instead of 22, and the purple will now do 21 instead of 20. People might be laughing, 1 damage, blah, blah, blah. 1 damage actually does matter, especially when you hit headshots. That becomes 2 damage immediately. Say you hit 3 headshots in a fight, that's 6 damage, you know? That stuff can really matter. I don't know if my math was correct there, but you guys get the point. 1 can actually matter, you know? And that's the change they make to the SMG, as well as reducing the magazine size from 50 to 40. Now, this was a fair change, I think, and that's why I think that a lot of people, if you watch these gameplays here, because I got these earlier, I have 2 P90s, and each of them only have 40 bullets in the clip, because that's the max you can go. But, I mean, this hasn't really changed the meta, because look, I'm still rocking, this is gameplays from tonight, and look at my inventory, I'm literally rocking 2 P90s just to spray and pray at people. I mean, obviously I wouldn't if I had better guns, but that's just the meta and sort of how you have to play into it. So those are changes to the P90. Do I still think the P90 is an absolute monster? Yeah. 1 damage and 10 bullets in the clip is not going to destroy this gun. This thing is a monster, which it should be good because it's a gold and purple. It's just really, really strong right now, but only up close, and I think that's what they're going for. Then the drum gun. They hit the drum gun hard with the Nerf hammer right now. They reduced the fall-off range damage from 80% to 70% at 3,500 units, reduced fall-off range damage from 65% to 55% at 5,000 plus units. So basically what they're doing right here is what they did in a patch a little bit ago to the SMGs. Basically saying the drum gun is an awesome gun and we like it in the game, but it needs to suck at range or else this thing is absolutely broken. So 3,500 units, which isn't even that far, 50 or 5,000 plus units, this thing is going to start to do less damage for people at range, which will be a noticeable change, not as noticeable as the SMG one because they totally destroyed what those things did at range, but this thing is still going to hit for 55% at 5,000 plus units, which is, I think the drum gun's damage is like 24, 20, something like that. So it's going to hit for like 12 or 13 at max range, which is garbage, right? But you should be using ARs at that range. Next, they added environmental damage fall off, matching player damage fall off. They decreased the jumping accuracy by 5%. They decreased the targeting accuracy by 10%. And they reduced the spawn rate from chest and floor loot by 40%. So they basically hit this thing with the drum gun is, they're kind of admitting it's overpowered with this patch update, in my opinion, because they're taking a weapon that's a blue and green, which is supposed to be not that rare, you know, and basically making them, they reduced the spawn rate from chest and floor loot, that's pretty much all the spawn rates, by 40%. So they're going to see a lot less drum guns in action. Now this begs the question, with all these changes, with this RIP Fortnite meta, how do you guys feel about the meta? Let me know in the comment section down below. What do you guys think was the best time of the Fortnite meta? What was your favorite time? Did you like when it was double heavy? Did you like when it was double pump? In my opinion, this meta, it can be frustrating, and I really think it's going down a bad path of trying to make everyone an even 1 KD player with the way that the new shotgun works, where you just spray and pray at close range, but everything else it sucks, and same with the SMGs. But as far as the meta, yeah, I don't think it's the best, but it's not something that I think is as horrible as other people. In my personal opinion, I still think shotguns are very useful for the fact that you have to crack them. A lot of gunfights come down to just a spray and pray meta, but if you get that first shot in, that headshot with the scar, or that body shot with the pumper or the heavy, that's going to give you that huge advantage. You're going to win that spray and pray battle 75% of the time. So my questions for you guys, and this is still what I'm working on with this meta and with the changes changing so fast. For me, my assault rifle to go to is the Scar. For shotguns, I'm still trying to decide between the heavy and the double barrel. I still can't decide between those two. I really like the double barrel, but the heavy, I'm just so comfortable with it at those medium ranges. So that's the one I'm still trying to decide between. And then the P90 versus drum gun, I'm still trying to decide between as well. With that one, I've been going with the P90 lately, and it's been working. But I do realize the drum gun is awesome and has 10 more bullets now in it. But those are basically the meta questions as of right now. As far as the actual how Fortnite is, I don't think it's that big of a deal. I think the player base is still enjoying the game. I just think that they really need to focus on making the people that play the game all day, every day, focus on keeping those guys happy as well as appealing to a casual audience, which is much easier said than done. But hopefully this video addressed everything and talked about some of the changes and how I felt about the meta. That's about it, guys. Drop a like if you guys did enjoy, subscribe to the channel if you guys are new, and have a fantastic evening, morning, or afternoon wherever you guys are. I'm out. Peace.